discussion in order to see how we as Ministry of Finance, the supervising authority for Urbra, can closely work together in the effort to stimulate savings into this economy, particularly savings aimed at ensuring that people are socially protected, especially at the time of retirement. But in doing so, the state, the government can utilize these savings for development.
Uganda Vision 2040 builds on the progress to address strategic bottlenecks that have constrained Uganda's socio-economic development. Social security, currently a loop in the country's economy, has prompted the Retirement Benefits Authority, Urbra, to push for gross national savings improvement from 14.5% to about 35% of GDP by 2040, despite the setbacks to execute such a plan due to financing challenges.
The thing we get is not all that much. I think our strategic plan was very ambitious. I think on average we had our budgetary plan for strategic plan of between 16 to 20 billion annually, but for the last 2-3 years we've only been getting 13.7 billion, around 14. So that is short of our expectation, and subsequently that has affected our capacity to employ. So we are working at I think 60%, slightly less than 60% capacity in terms of staffing. So we'd have loved to employ more people, but we can't because of financial resources.
The efforts extended to ensure cohesion with the Ministry of Finance proposes the realization to build capacity of the Benefits Authority and increase the visibility so that employees embrace the need to save.
Yeah, of course it is unimaginable to have a regulator being weaker than the agencies they regulate. So you need to see a strong regulator, especially when compared with those people that they are regulating. They should not appear to be so weak financially, beggars and things like that. So it is really important that since we are talking about fund management, that the regulator must be strong enough, to be able to speak with strength when he has the capacity. You should not go in rags, to regulate a stronger agency like NSSF.
The employee contribution crisis and the security fund transparency was partly illustrate the limits. A total of 420 cases of defaulting employers have been forwarded to the Labour Ministry. 213 of the defaulters have been dragged to various magistrate courts across the country, locking up to 200 billion shillings, and hefty penalties are now among the considered remedies.
Those entities that are not remitting actually are breaking the law, and they can be charged for doing that. So it requires a requirement that once you have deducted a member's money from his salary, that you remit that money to the fund, where that particular person is contributing. So it's a requirement under the law. And breaches have got to be punished. There are sanctions when you fail to do that. So I think the enforcement agencies can actually enforce those laws.
Urbra Board Chairman Julius Bijirwa further reveals dedication to ensure growth of social security through improved savings and funds protection in a manner that will attract involvement that's been currently undermined by the NSSF investigations into fund mismanagement.
Contributions to NSSF is mandatory, and if you are not complying to that, you're out of the law. You're supposed to be reprimanded. Are there efforts to enforce that? Yes, but how do we know? We have to know from members, the employees who whistleblow to us. Many of these things have happened without us knowing. For those that we've known, we've been able to reach out to the employers who are not honoring the obligations, and we've seen a positive response. And our numbers, if you look at the reporting you've seen, unremitted contributions have significantly reduced from as high as, I think, 30 billion, around 30 billion, to around less than 10 billion now. So,
despite the challenges which we have, especially right now with NSSF, as a board, we are looking at how we have journeyed from. we believe there are some improvements given regulations which are in place. But there is a lot more to be done, especially just like you have been seeing in media reports about corruption, political interference, and all those factors. So as a regulator, we have to step in.
The annual sector revelations, for example, in 2020, indicate solid performance in both operational and financial success despite COVID-19 pandemic and related restrictions on the economic activity. Total sector assets increased by 16.4% from 13 trillion shillings in 2019 to 15.4 trillion shillings, accounting for 11.1% of gross domestic product compared to 10.3% in 2019. Ronana Habwe, SMART24 TV, Business Today.